This is your tea or coffee on High Impact Television. Our conversation is on extracurricular activities. Now, I'll be having a conversation with my guest. She's already here with us. We're going to be talking about extracurricular activities and why parents are deterring their children from doing all of these things to help them become better. I have Efe Ose with me this morning. She is a strategy and operations consultant. She's a trainer and teens mentor in Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Now, before you joined us, my co-presenter and I were having major conversations on extracurricular activities. We're talking about the benefits. We're talking about how people are not doing so much to engage themselves in hobbies and extracurricular activities as long as it's not making them money. It's really not my business. But then I want to ask you, why are parents like the major deterrent, if that's the right word, to children picking up extracurricular activities?
Perhaps I want, we should say some parents, not all, because I'm a parent and I strongly encourage my children to actually. But you see, you can't actually give what you don't have. And what you don't know much about, you can advise someone and possibly not even make good decisions about. Okay, so I think parents' lack of knowledge or enough knowledge about what the importance of extracurricular activities are. It's why most of them, or some of them, seem to want to deprive their children to engage in it. And of course, we also know that there are financial implications, at least around most of our schools. So imagine, especially in this present stage that we're in, you know, a lot of people's finances have been affected. So parents want to count, you know, the cost, take a close look at those figures and want to make decisions. So when they don't have money to run those things, you don't expect them to even get their children or enroll their children in such activities.
Okay, but I mean, you know, we have schools that would do this for free. Let's talk sports. Schools will encourage children, and now I'm talking about primary school, encourage, no matter what the school is, either public or private, they would encourage the students to do some sports and everything. I would hear some parents say that that is not what I sent you to school to do. Go and face your studies. I don't want you to play ball. I don't believe that there should be a parent at this point in time that will say, no, play ball, no. But I don't want you to this, I don't want you to that. Why?
You're absolutely right. And so I think that's where the school comes in, really. Okay. Because at the end of the day, education is a partnership between the parents and the school. In fact, they're actually the prime executors of education itself, as far as the curriculum is concerned.
All right.
So the school would have to do a lot, deliberate effort to actually enlighten parents the more. Okay. Because as it stands, there's need for parents to begin to understand that it's not just about academics. Okay. Education must be balanced. A child must keep fit. A child must learn skills, life skills. These skills are learned in the place of extracurricular activities. Okay. So parents must begin to understand that. Once they understand that, trust me, there will be cheerleaders of their children to want to take part in such activities. Every many parent want to have a child that is healthy. So if you know sports will make your child, yes, you don't have to be on the school relay team, you don't have to play football, but physical and health education is good both for the adult and for every child. Yes. So knowledge is key, like we say, knowledge is power. So it's time, deliberate effort for us to begin to engage parents some more, for them to see the advantages and embrace them. Okay,
I want to pick up from what you said on life skills. I realized that we are not taught until we become adults and then we pick it up ourselves, these life skills, decision-making skills, leadership skills. It is now that parents that are now training their children that realize what they've lacked are now instilling it in their children. But why? Why didn't we learn how to handle success and most especially failure? Why didn't we learn all these little life lessons? All we just learned is maths, English. social studies, and that is it. And when we are faced with certain situations, especially because I mean, when you get to the university or any tertiary institution, you have some sort of freedom. You are able to do certain things yourself. Then you will be faced with challenges that you cannot explain, or you're not equipped to do any of these things on your own. Why? Why didn't they actually put us through life skills and some of these things that you've mentioned?
You know, the curriculum itself really has a lot to do with that.
Okay.
That's one. And like I said before, you can't give what you don't have. You see, our parents, they have the opportunities we have now. And I'm sure our children would even have more opportunities than what we have now if we do things right. So at that time, some things just were considered as necessary.
Okay.
Okay, and we also know that it's not a one-size-fits-all. For all you know, there are a few people who were able to embrace that in time past. Okay. Some were quite exposed. Some had to school outside the shores of this country. So, of course, for those ones, they would almost want to disagree a bit or differ a bit because they'll tell you, oh, I learned a lot. And I also tell you, because our parents will always tell us lessons, they'll tell us how they had to labor. Some of them had to toil. Some of them had to sell. Some of them had to go at quite early age to make ends meet such that they can support their parents in their education.
Sure.
They didn't understand. Of course, they learned a lot along the way. That gave them resilience. But of course, they didn't know. They can't see that those were skills they learned. The skills were actually, because if you see, that's why they'll tell you, oh, your parents were stronger than you. Some would say, oh, the parents of yesterday were more this, were more that. So really, some learned. But because they didn't know what it was, life happened to them. Because in the place of experience, an exchange really occurs. Something happens. The question is, what do you do with those things? So when people don't even know they don't even realize that something has happened, or they don't know what to do with it, then they can't even say they learned anything. But I'm glad that it is changing. Hopefully it's getting better. And then we'll begin to see the importance of the skills. Trust me, there are skills, whether you're going to run your business tomorrow, whether you're going to just be all about education, there are life skills for you to survive that you will need. Okay,
let's talk about extracurricular activities that children should engage in. What are the important ones? What are the ones that are not so important? Do we even have ones that are not so important? I'm talking about children in primary, secondary, and then we can talk about people in tertiary institutions.
Now, extracurricular activities, it's you know, as it is now, most schools actually have plans. You know, they have structures, they have those that they think will work for them. So it's not sacrosanct. Okay. So for some parents, they want their children to learn skills that they can monetize over time. Because we've seen that you can't just go out of school and then expect the government to give you a job. We've seen that life is really not fair. So some parents would rather, let my child learn a skill that he or she can monetize tomorrow. Someone would say, I think I've seen in my child leadership abilities. So what extracurricular activities run by my child's school can help to further nurture this ability. So it's not a one-size-fits-all, really. So, but anything that is good, that makes you a complete child, that will help your academics, that will help your physical, because let me say something. When any child walks into a school, that child walks in mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, and vocationally. So all of those areas must be educated to bring up a complete and a total child. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So that is why it is very key that as much as possible, parents and of course educators look at these areas and ensure that they actually come up with extracurricular activities can service all of these areas and needs.
Okay, so the importance of extracurricular activities cannot be overemphasized.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about it. What are the importance apart from from parents understanding, you know, why they should encourage their children into, you know, engaging in such activities, what are the other important?
Like I've just mentioned, you need a complete child, a total child. Every school wants to pride themselves with being able to churn out graduates, children they can boast and say, these were graduates from our school.
True.
And so the child can stand in public and be able to express his or herself. The child can be able to move from point A to B, most likely unassisted. And every parent also wants to see a balanced child. See, I tell you something, whether you're an adult or a child, life has a way of throwing us curveballs. And those balls could come in form of, you know, peer pressure. We know how that can actually affect children.
Sure.
It could even be financial downtimes. There are times where children are sent out of school because parents have not been able to meet up with payment of school fees. It could even be illness or loss of parents or loved ones. Okay, so but extracurricular activities or curricular activities teach skills, soft life skills, including soft skills like resilience, commitment, team building, a whole lot that would help everyone navigate when life throws such balls. So that is a key area that extracurricular activities actually help to address. And they will also see that there are some students, their talents that are brought up, that comes to limelight only through engagement in extracurricular activities that cannot even happen in the four corners of the classroom, as the case may be, or that academics will not even bring about. And then you even see cases where children becomes more tidy in class, even at home. Why? Because they have been able to work in teams when they engage in such activities, so they're able to manage time. And it eventually even helps in the academics, because time management is one of the things they get to learn when they engage in extracurricular activities that are time-bound and all of that, so they know they have something at stake. And so over time, they moved all of those things into the classroom, and it begins to help, you know, balance them academically. And it's also been, you know, study has also shown that it has actually helped to form certain characters. So you see children could be so hyper-ordinary in class, but when they get engaged, they take this thing off the classroom, academic, and they go and use it during extracurricular activities. And they become tamed, do you understand? And they become more than what they used to be, basically. And so those characters are now refined in the place of engagement. And then they go back to the classroom and they become better behaved.
But wouldn't that change the way the child is? So, I mean, what I'm saying is we have children that are very playful, hyperactive, but by the time they get into school, they become quiet and reserved. Doesn't that change how the child is?
Absolutely not. That's why I said that is where extracurricular activities come in. It doesn't change. First, let's understand the fact that change is the only thing that's constant.
True.
Every child even wants to get better. Every parent actually wants their children to get better by the day, just like you and I. We all want to get better. So, yes, we all have different, you know, like you just said, behavior, you know, expectations of behaviors and all of that. But in the place of extracurricular activities, like I said, they are better used. So it doesn't really take, rather, I am of the opinion that it makes every child better. It actually makes them better. So it's not the extracurricular activity that makes you, because you were, you know, the loud type, then you suddenly, no, it doesn't just happen. Because at some point, the child will even reason, does my voice even make other people upset? Now I work in a team. You can easily begin to notice that, oh, because I'm so loud, my team would always lose. My team would always, you know, be set back, perhaps as a result of my behavior. So some are unconsciously, without the child even knowing, there's refinement taking place. So when you begin to see a child change, I don't think it's because, if it's done right, It's because the child is getting refined and it's getting better.
Okay.
Not because the child is being converted or changed, you know. But change, we know, but we are just advocating for a change that gets better.
All right. Before I let you go, there is this particular question that we asked our audience, and we got a lot of comments. And it says, should your course of study fuel your passion, or should your passion fuel your course of study? I mean, you know, we have situations where we have people that have gone into the university to study a certain thing, but because of all the extracurricular activities that they've engaged in, they want to do something else. But then probably university didn't give them what they wanted, or their parents really forced that you must be a lawyer, you must be a doctor, but they just want to do carpentry or music and all of that. Should their education work hand in hand with what it is that they want to do as a hobby or as a passion, or they can just, you know, branch into it later on?
You know, growing up, I used to hear a lot of jack of all trades, master of none, but I'm glad I had a father who would always say to me, Efe, God has equipped us with so much. So do not limit yourself.
Okay.
You can, if you can handle 2 at a time, please go for it. If you can handle 3 at a time, go for it. I was very much involved in sport activities in my school. In fact, I was in my school's relay team. Yeah, so I was very active, you know, and I know how much that affected me positively. Okay, then going into school, I didn't get the opportunity to study the course I wanted, not because my parents forced it, but jump happened. So life happened.
Life happened.
So, but then your passion is also key.
Okay.
Because whether you're a business owner or you're working for someone, your passion will always speak. It has a way of finding itself out. If you're not passionate about even your job, you will do a shoddy job.
Okay.
If you're not passionate about something, even as a business owner, the business may not thrive. Yet it's fine that you may actually get a team of people who can actually help you build that. But the question is, the thing is, passion. It's passion.
Yeah.
And so please don't take it down. In fact, foil it as much as you can. So if, for example, you study medicine, because we have cases where there's a medical doctor who is making so much wave as an artist in Nigeria.
Yes.
So his passion, he loves it, but he's saving lives. And at the same time, it's following his passion. So if you can handle as much as you can handle, and you know it's not affecting you in a negative way, please embrace it.
Okay.
It is not sacrosanct. What is good for you may not be entirely good for me. What I can handle, you may not entirely be able to handle. So as far as I'm able to handle it, as far as I'm able to pursue my passion, it could be a skill. So we understand how the economic situation is now. So everybody wants multiple streams of income. In fact, I say to people, if your streams of income are not up to 4 yet, then you may just begin to think of the next stream of income.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It has been enlightening and very educative. We have just had a conversation with Ife, and she has broken down a lot on extracurricular activities. In fact, we took a quick branch into the conversation of your course of study and passion. She said if you can handle it, then you should go for it. Do not compare yourself with other people, because we are all different entities and individuals. You should also think about having multiple streams of income, because that may actually help you and liberate you into financial freedom.